Hey, good morning. Welcome to Energy Works. Today we're talking about being yourself. So sometimes we feel that who we are is not good enough, or it's not acceptable in some way, or we would be more acceptable if we were more something else, fill in the gap, and we would be more loved or accepted if we were whatever that more something else is. And so I wanted to clear some energy this week for us to feel better about ourselves and to feel that we are able to be ourselves and to accept who we are. And of course, we're all ourselves due to all the different experiences that we've had and due to the experiences that we are still processing and the things that are yet to pass. So, as I ask always, is there anywhere in your body that is feeling awful? Anywhere that you might like to talk about or that we can clear energy around? All right, so now we're going to start with our crown chakra, so that our connection to God, because if we think about it, God created us as we are, and He didn't make mistakes, and whatever weaknesses or difficulties we have are designed to help grow us and to make us be stronger and better people. So it's the opportunity to grow through the problems that we have. All right, and the first thing that comes up in the crown chakra is an oil called cedarwood. Now, cedarwood is the oil of community. So sometimes we don't feel like we are an important part of our community, but we actually are. All right, cedarwood supports individuals in seeing that they are not alone. Life is a shared experience. Cedarwood also assists in opening the awareness of individuals to the support system that is already available to them, such as friends or family that have been overlooked. It invites individuals to both give and receive so they may experience the strength of groups and the joy of relationships. Right, and the companion oil to this is birch. All right, so birch oil is the oil of support. Birch encourages individuals to accept support when it is offered. Often when individuals have carried their burdens alone, they don't know how to receive assistance. So birch counsels individuals to not become the reason they are unsupported by blocking those who would lend their support. It reminds that it sometimes requires more strength to accept help than to go it alone. And of course, that brings up the personality of other people, isn't it? Sometimes the support may come in a way that we're not familiar with or we feel a little uncomfortable with. Okay, so I guess allowing support and being part of a community is the important part of being here in this life. All right, I am a success even when things around me get tough. So generational baggage hidden here from mum. All right, I'm enough regardless of what I own. I see my problems as lessons of growth, not as failure. And I think that's really important because often the difficulties that we have are tailored for us to grow. And we often get upset that we have difficulties or that we have faults, but that's not the way that we need to look at it. All right, I am fun and spiritual. So sometimes we feel to be spiritual that, oh, good morning, Jackie. Sometimes we feel like if we're spiritual, we have to be very straight-laced and not have any fun. So but I always think God has a great sense of humor. All right, I'm connected to my earth family and my heavenly family. And again, is there anywhere in your body that's complaining? I relax and trust the process of life. And it is just that, isn't it? That it is a process of how we learn and we grow and the challenges we're given and how we learn to rise above those challenges and do a bit better. All right, I'm in contact with my inner being. My nerves and intercellular pathways are connecting. And sometimes it's hard to be present because we're so busy trying to keep other people happy or fulfill our duties. All right, so Jackie's mentioned headaches. Okay, well, that would make sense with the crown chakra, wouldn't it? Bacteria affecting the adrenals. Your adrenal glands help make energy. So some emotions affecting this. It's more an emotional thing rather than a physical thing. Feelings of regret over the past. All right, also virus. Affecting the stomach. Again, emotional base. More stuck emotions. Feelings of loneliness being repressed. And sometimes life is a little lonely, isn't it? Sometimes we feel that nobody exactly sees us or understands us or acknowledges how we feel or what we might need, or that we're doing the best that we can and that, this is as good as we can do at this particular moment. All right, so generational loneliness from birth mum. More feelings. So birth mum's dad, and the men. Like 53 generations of men. Let's say it's okay to let people in. Sometimes we're scared to let people in. We may be scared to show our real self, and we might be scared to be vulnerable. And, often we're very critical of ourselves, and so we're frightened that other people will see the same weaknesses that we see, and that we will be judged and criticized and condemned for our weaknesses or our difficulties. All right, age 2. And let's say I am acceptable as I am. I once had a young man who, in his year 12, I think he was in with his mate, I think there was 3 of them, and they smoked this particular batch of pot that was tainted, and they both developed schizophrenia. And he said to me once when I worked on him, he said, these are my experiences and God made me how I am. And so it's like we had to respect who and how he was, and there were things for us to learn from him as he was. So sometimes we would like it to be, I almost want to say plastic and not real, but we are real, and we all do have faults, and we all have different faults for different reasons. So it's like accepting the faults and accepting the journey of the faults, because it's helping us to become who we're supposed to become. All right, so now we're going to go into the throat chakra. So it's okay to receive that message, and we have to sort of understand the message, take it on board, and then we have to speak what we need to speak. All right, often avoiding the truth or facing painful facts. All right, I substitute love, joy, and peace for old habits of addictions and abuse. And, sometimes we're addicted to substances, or sometimes we're addicted to power, or sometimes we're addicted to control. And sometimes we can be abusive to ourselves, or we can be abusive to others when we feel that things are outside our control. Good morning, Susanna. All right, something from age 6. And again, is there anywhere in your body that's complaining? Feeling offended. right, now something in our feet. Left foot. All right, affected by pretense, deceit, and unforgiveness. So sometimes we have to pretend to be what other people want us to be to feel to get love and to be accepted, especially as children. And so sometimes this has become a habit of having to do what other people want us to do to be accepted. And this can be a very hard habit to break. I'm sure I still do it myself. So it's like learning to become okay with who we are and with the good parts and the bad parts of us. And I guess that's where, we had the cedarwood oil before. That's about the community, isn't it? And also birch was about support. So it's like we almost prevent ourselves from having community and support because we're not prepared to be ourselves and we want to be something else. But it's like as a community, then you have this superpower, I have this one, and she has this other one. So it's like we all need each other's superpowers to exist as a community and to work together. All right, so Zuzana mentioned stomach and mind, and Jackie said, I damaged my big toenail. It gives me shooting nerve pain. Ouch. All right, so not feeling able to heal. So what I'm learning through my own journey is having insulin resistance is a big problem. Medically, they don't really test for insulin resistance unless you ask, and they test for sugar. But they're waiting. It's like having this terrible, dangerous curve in the road with no fences, and at the bottom of the cliff is all these beautiful, medical situation that they can help fix anything. But instead of having a fence at the top and protecting us from falling down this big cliff, it's no, they're waiting at the bottom. So it's like we want to become more proactive in preventing ourselves from going down that pathway. So some of the side effects of having insulin resistance is it affects our brain fog, our joint repair, our hormones, our heart attack risk, and also like damage to our circulation eventually when the sugar starts to go high. So it's like our peripheral circulation. So we've got our central circulation, we've got our peripheral circulation in our hands and our feet and our penis and, vagina and all, eyes, all those other parts, kidneys, they're parts that are sort of like dead ends. And if the circulation gets damaged, then they're parts that will complain. So it's like our addictions can lead to our undoing. And the addiction, of course, is to help us deal with what happened to us as children, isn't it? All right, so this goes back to age 2. All right. An oil comes up here, and good morning, Margaret. So it's juniper berry. So juniper berry is the oil of night, but it's also it assists those who fear the dark or unknown aspects of themselves. So sometimes we don't like the parts of ourselves that are difficult, but we need those difficult bits to grow and to learn. So you might use a juniper berry to feel protected. So when you were 2, you didn't necessarily feel protected. And sometimes our families weren't safe. Sometimes we had to endure difficulties and abuse and, the personalities of the people that we live with. All right, now we're going to jump up into the lunar chakra. What's coming up is fear of the night. Now, and I guess that goes with the juniper berry, but sometimes we have a fear of the dark within ourselves, or some people having sleep issues. They actually fear going to bed at night. So sleep problems. And what comes up as helpful too is silence. Sometimes we don't have silence. Also, reading good books. I am conscious and present in the now. Sometimes it's hard to do that, isn't it? One of my patients talks about being where your feet are. All right, I allow myself to exercise my full healthy boundaries with complete love and compassion. My life is a series of healthy decisions based on mutual love and respect for others as well as myself. I'm an ideal employer or employee with strong, healthy boundaries. All right, so now we're getting into trust. All right, I trust the difficulties in my life have been for my highest good. And sometimes when we're going through these horrible difficulties, we find it very hard, very confronting, with not what we want. But later we can look back and we can say, oh, yes, I learned that, or I learned this, or, I've learned to trust my intuition better, or whatever has happened through those experiences. All right, it's safe for me to trust my partner. And we can say it's safe for me to have a partner, or to allow myself to have a partner. I'm worthy and deserving of other people's trust. That one's age 8. All right, anywhere in your body that's complaining. So Susanna said stomach and mind. And many times we make the comment that we married our father. This would imply that we're still learning to develop strength from this type of situation. Often we see this as a failure on our part in choosing the wrong person, but it can turn out to be exactly the right person and situation necessary for us to grow the spiritual muscles for future life challenges. When we work through these difficult situations, it can lead to strengthening of the relationships and deeper foundations of love and trust. I accept my past. My family share with me love, honor, respect, value, space, gratitude, understanding, tolerance, forgiveness, and acceptance to me. And I accept this gift. All right. My ability to press forward helps empower my family. Other family members' failures are acknowledged without condemnation and criticism. I no longer keep offences stored in my mind for ready reference. All right, some generational baggage from mum's side of the family. And the men's. So mum's, dad's side and the men. Like 23 generations of men. Age 6, stuck in your stomach. So I'm digesting my life. I'm digesting my family. I'm digesting my relationships. I'm digesting my experiences. All right, something stuck in our back. So L5 is the last vertebra just above your sacrum, holding onto feelings of betrayal, abandonment, and isolation. There's something else in our mind. I easily see the lessons to be learnt from my challenges. Excuse me. I feel safe and free to be me. All right, I'm now asking if there's anything preventing ourselves from being ourselves. Age 6, 15. Okay, big breath in and out. My wrist is sorry, is unable to type my left foot, ankle where the leg meets, if that makes sense. Right. So sort of like where your foot bends. We were talking about the left foot before, yeah. And we were talking before about juniper berry, so the oil of night. All right, so the oil kumquat, which is about authentic presence. Kumquat oil instructs that true happiness comes only through real, honest, and unstudied living. It reminds that people are a complement of good and bad, sweet and sour. Individuals must embrace their multifaceted humanness and anchor their identity in the truth in order to live authentically. Kumquat invites all to shift their focus away from outward behaviors or pretenses, which others may validate, and instead begin the quiet, consistent, and unseen journey to inner alignment, contentment, and healing. All right, so sometimes when we are living a bit in fight or flight, and I guess for some people freeze, it's like, if we had a sword, we've got our sword ready up to fight the lion. But if the sword isn't going so good, we're also on our tippy toes ready to do a runner. So sometimes when that happens, when we're on our tippy toes, it's like our calves are really tight because they're ready to go and run away. So this can pull your heel up too high, and it's like your foot and your ankle mechanics aren't correct then. All right, so something stuck in your calf muscle has got two muscles. It's got gastrocnemius and soleus. So soleus is underneath and gastroc is on top. So something in that gastroc muscle. Something from age 16 stuck in that muscle. Feelings of helplessness being repressed. So sometimes we feel like it's hard to change our life or hard to change the way things are happening in our life. All right, so female friends, okay. All right, so let's say I no longer see other people's bad behavior towards me as a measurement of me. All right, not being able to control yourself. So sometimes, I guess there's a fine line here. So sometimes we have feelings of anger or feelings that are uncomfortable that we don't like and we're embarrassed about, and we see this as a problem. But it's like these feelings are telling us what's stuck and where, and it's the opportunity to release them. But we can be very attached to what that feeling is, and we can feel shame or embarrassment or, uncomfortable about having these feelings and feeling that, that we shouldn't have these feelings. All right, I accept all my feelings and give them space to be expressed. So this is a generational pattern from mum, having trouble allowing feelings, allowing people to express their feelings, allowing themselves to express feelings. All right, so some more feelings stuck. Feeling separated. So sometimes we get separated from our life. Things can happen. People in our family or around about us might need us, and we may get caught between what we feel is good for us and what's good for the other person. And it's like it can be very hard to get that dance happening in a healthy way. So why am I so good at taking care of myself and my mum? Or why am I so good at taking care of myself and family members or friends or my business, etc.? All right, age 12. All right, so something in the stomach. Feeling forlorn. So sometimes we can feel left out or left behind or not acceptable in some way. Something from age 27, stuck in the foot, and 33. All right, something stuck in our neck, to the base of our neck. Feeling emotionally wound up. All right, left ankle, belief that you have to be a slave to others, especially to your children, your partner, your work, or for some people it's their parents. Not spending enough time nurturing yourself and discovering what is important to you. So I guess it's like letting yourself have little adventures. All right, visualize taking clear, deliberate, confident steps ahead. Now stand and take a few steps, concentrate on walking toward your desires. How does it feel to walk toward without the heavy change? To walk forward, sorry, without the heavy change. What are the possibilities that lie ahead of you now? Embrace the positive possibilities. Tell yourself that you can see and feel yourself creating the life you will love. Breathe in feelings of joy and happiness about this decision. All right. So our next Energy Workz get together is on the 21st. And we have our next Energy Workz foundation is the 21st to the 23rd of May. All right. So let's check in now. How's the head, the stomach, the toe, mind, the ankle? Is there any other parts of you that are complaining? Right. Alrighty. So if there's nothing else, we'll close our call. But thank you for being you, and I'm hoping to encourage you to continue to be you, not to be a fake someone else. No Barbies. All right. Have a good day.